for students to use their Flex Money at. Light Rail is a coffee shop, and they also have the best fire-baked pizzas. Connected to campus, we have about 20 miles worth of trails. That's going to include mountain biking trails and regular walking trails. They're connected to campus and they go down through the village. Living in Winona Lake gives us the great opportunity to take advantage of living in a lake town. Any student or person in the community can go on our Grace Boat for free and enjoy a nice boat ride or even some tubing. There's a lot of fun activities down at the lake, but there's also a lot of things to do on campus. Let's head back up there and take a look. Grace College is located on a beautiful campus that gives us a lot of space for on-campus activities like spike ball, hammocking, and longboard. The Grace Intramural program puts on a bunch of different tournaments for us. One of them that we do in the fall would be spike ball. We spend a whole weekend playing spike ball, and the winner of the tournament gets a free t-shirt. Grace's campus offers a lot of different areas for students to relax and study on campus. We have great hammocking trees that provide a lot of shade. Most students' favorite way to get to class is through longboarding, biking, and even scootering. All right, let's go take a look at some of the academic buildings on campus. These academic buildings on campus are where you're going to have some of your classes. It's also a great place to go study and talk with your professors. The Science Center is one of our newer academic buildings on campus. It was built in 2018 and it's a great home for our science and math students. The Lilly Center for Lakes and Streams is a great resource for our environmental science students. Here is where they can put to practice the skills that they've learned in the classroom through jobs and internships. They do a lot of research with the hundreds of lakes and streams in our county. Mount Memorial is the home to our Behavioral Science Department, Art Department, and Education Department. Our Education Department is one of our biggest and fastest growing majors on campus. The lower level of the MOCC is home to our Business and Accounting majors. The Business Department is our largest department on campus and it has a lot of different concentrations. If you ever have any questions, your professor would love to talk with you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some dorms. We offer a lot of different options for residential dorms on campus, including community style and non-community style dorms. A typical room in Omega is going to be a 2-person room. This 2-person room does have a vanity and sink in it because this is a community style bathroom. Community style bathroom means that you share the bathroom with all of the people on your floor. Each room in Omega has a thermostat so you can control the temperature in your room. Because Omega is our largest dorm on campus, it does have a lot of different features. That would include a full-sized kitchen on the 2nd floor and a movie theater room on the 3rd floor. The lodge is very similar to Omega, it's just a bit smaller and has more of a cabin feel. Westminster Hall is one of our most interesting dorms on campus because it actually used to be an old hotel. Another great feature of Westminster is that every room has its own bathroom. If you're interested in being a Grace College athlete or if you're just interested in playing intramurals, we'll go take a look at some options for you on campus. We have a lot of different facilities on campus if you're interested in being an athlete or if you're just interested in sports. This is the Gordon Health and Wellness Center. In here we have 2 different weight rooms. One is a general weight room for all students, faculty, and staff, and the other is a green room that's for athletes only. Connected to the G-Hawk is the Field House. The Field House has our indoor track. It's also where we participate in our intramurals, and it's also where you and your friends can just go and shoot some hoops. The MOCC is where we have our home basketball and volleyball games. It's also one of the largest and nicest arenas in our conference. The Miller Field Complex is about a 1/4 mile down the road, and that's where our outdoor tennis courts, soccer fields, baseball and softball fields, and our outdoor track is. Thanks for joining me today on our tour of Grace College campus. For more information, you can visit our website.
I think everybody wants to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. And I think when you get to our program and you see that, you get a sense of, man, I kind of want to be a part of that. It looks fun what they're doing, and it is fun. It's fun to work hard and to do it the right way. We need the right type of kid for who we are and what we believe in. You know, I want guys who get after it. I think that one of the best compliments somebody can give our team is, man, I can't believe how hard your team works. I can't believe how hard they play, how hard they practice. The last thing we want our kids to do is think back and say, man, you know what, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that differently. And so the more we can instill that early on, where every single day matters, every possession matters, every practice matters, every game matters, every test matters, doing the little things better than everybody else is kind of what's going to separate your team from another team. And sure, we have goals and aspirations, right? We want to win a national championship. We want to hang banners in the OCC. But again, those are goals that are out here. And I think sometimes we forget about the steps it takes to achieve those goals. And so maybe more so focusing on what's the day-to-day, what's it look like. It all matters. Every day we're in a job interview, every day.
Here at Grace College, we make the application process quick and simple, so there are no roadblocks on your path to Grace. All you have to do is go to grace.edu/application. It takes 5 minutes to complete, it's free, there are no essay questions, and you'll get an admissions decision in 2 weeks or less. It's that simple. At Grace College, we shape powerful perspectives and launch purposeful lives. It's not just the tradition in which we were founded, but it's the future that we embrace. Start your journey with Grace College and apply today.
You know, we always say in our program, you're either competing or you're not. You know, and that's life. You're always going to have to compete every day. You're going to have to compete every day. It's playing for each other, playing as hard as you can, leaving everything on the floor, do things right, be unselfish, love one another, and glorify God. And we just believe those characteristics you can apply on and off the court, and they're the foundation of our program. If you're looking for that Christian education and still playing basketball or whatever your sport of choice, you got an opportunity to come here and play at a competitive high level, but at the same time you're going to get the spiritual development and grow and develop in our walk with the Lord and our faith, and just having that passion to get better in every area of our life, having that passion to improve, having that passion to challenge ourselves and know that we can do more, we can reach higher heights. The experience that you're going to get in your 4 years when you come here, you're going to take a trip. You're going to go somewhere where you're going to experience something different. You're going to learn about what it takes to be successful. You know, you have to have the self-discipline to get in the gym. You know, you have to have the work ethic. You have to be unselfish. You got to know it's not about you, it's about the we. Big time is not where you are. Big time is how you do it. And at Grace and in Grace Athletics, you know, we may be a small school, but we do it big time.
Hello and welcome to a jam-packed Manahan Orthopedic Capital Center here on the campus of Grace College for tonight's Crossroads League championship matchup between your number 4 Grace College Lancers and the number 15 Huntington Foresters. My name is Cameron Williams, and tonight I'm joined by Jerry Garotto. Jerry, huge game tonight. How big could this be potentially for both teams?
You know, it wouldn't matter if they were both 2-30. It's Huntington. It's Grace. That in itself says everything. Even though we've kind of been a stepsister to Indiana Wesleyan over the last few years, I think traditionally there's more of a rivalry with Huntington. And they don't really like the idea that maybe we've stepped up a bit. And you can't blame them. You know, they ruled the roost for a very long time. Then Wesleyan kind of kicked things in about a decade ago. Huntington slipped a bit, but Coach Alford's done a tremendous job bringing Huntington back. And they just seem to have I always like watching teams in warm-ups. You don't want them to be fake rah-rah or that kind of stuff. But what kind of energy do they have? And the Huntington guys weren't throwing the ball around. They were rather flawless. They really seemed to be locked in. And, you know, it'd be nice bragging rights just to be able to, hey, we won the regular season and the Crossroads Tournament Championship. And Grace has not done that in a really long time. Of course, the Crossroads hasn't been in existence that long, but I'm just talking about the daily double as far as regular season conference.
Both Grace and Huntington find themselves entering tonight on win streaks. The Lancers are coming off previous tournament wins against both St. Francis and Marian. Those were both at home. And then that brought their win streak to 9 games. And then the Foresters on an 11-game win streak themselves, one of the hottest teams in the country with tournament wins over Mount Vernon and Taylor. Now, the last 2 times that these teams lost was to each other. So, Jerry, what's going to be key for tonight for both teams making sure they don't lose?
I think a great deal's got to do with distance between the two. Neither one of them getting in a hole and then having to scramble. We know that Grace does that. We also know that Grace has had a tendency at times to kind of not come out real jacked right at the beginning of the ball game, get themselves in deficit, and then fight back. Their focus for 40 minutes over the last couple of ball games has been outstanding. You bring up a great point when you say Huntington's not just playing well for our conference. Huntington's one of the hottest teams in the country. They're number 15, but part of that's because of ball games they lost early, that they got down to where they weren't receiving votes. And then when you just start to receive votes, it is so difficult in the NAI to make the climb through the polls. I really thought the other night that we were looking at 2 teams that could make major noise on the national level, and I definitely think that tonight also. Huntington's going to go to Kansas City, provided they can get out of their regional, much like we have to, and we'll talk more about broadcast times and next week and what time you should get here in order to be able to find a place in the parking lot, for goodness sakes, a little bit later on in the broadcast. But if they can get out and if they can go to Kansas City, one of the things about this conference, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, this conference, yes, it's the strongest conference in the country because it's so deep. And realistically, of the 10 teams in the conference, there were 8 pretty solid teams, and of those 8, there were 6 to 7 really good teams. And the 8th team, Taylor, they were 8th seed, yet who were 2 of their wins? Indiana Wesleyan in the first game of the tournament, and they gave us our first loss of the actual season. But because of the different styles that people play in this conference, you go to the tournament prepared because you've been exposed to everything. There are a couple other conferences that, man, they are just wide open, and everybody plays wide open, and that's great till you run into a team that likes to walk the ball down the floor and likes to play full possessions, likes to play a half-court game, and they can get you out of your rhythm. Well, in the Crossroads League, you see everything. Absolutely everything. And there's that crowd you talked about, Bud.
This place is jam-packed for tonight's action. As you mentioned already, Grace, the defending Crossroads League champions from last season, went into that tournament as the 5 seed, won the championship game against Marian at Marian. This season won the regular season title after a win in their last regular season game in an Indiana Wesleyan loss. Grace could look to build some massive momentum for their NAI national tournament run with a win tonight. What do you think is going to be important for them in terms of offensive scheme against a talented Huntington offense?
I think you got to establish Malone early. He doesn't have to have a 25-point game, but if you can just get the ball inside to him, let him establish his presence, it makes everybody's defense react entirely differently. If you can do that, if he gets taken out of the game or gets in foul trouble, then you're looking at Scott, who's got to go not against gigantic people for Huntington, but against some pretty decent size and have to hold his own without getting in any kind of foul trouble. The other thing is we don't have to shoot 25 threes, but we've got to have about 5 to 7 go down. I'm like a little kid. I'm too busy paying attention to the crowd to worry about what's on my headset.
Oh yeah, this is one of the most packed gym games I've seen here at my time at Grace. As you mentioned, Elijah Malone, a big key name for Grace tonight. And then you look on the Huntington side, you got Zach Goodline shooting 50% from 3. Lane Sparks 40% from 3. Those guys both averaging about 20 points per game, and they've been the reason this team's been so hot. How is Grace going to what are they going to have to do actually to stop those two?
Well, you're not going to stop those two. Those guys are going to get their points. It's how many shots are they going to have to take to get their points, and how hard are they going to have to work for them? They both like to drill threes, so you're going to give them the opportunity to just come down, come off of a screen, and, loft one up and get into a nice shooting rhythm, or you're going to make them run through 3 or 4 screens, maybe get bumped along the middle, take them out of their timing in order to get those shots off.
Tonight is a super exciting matchup. We are just under 2 minutes away from the pregame and then tip-off. We will be right back with you after the pregame show, the national anthem, and the prayer. This is Cameron Williams, Jerry Garotto. Get yourself ready for a jam-packed night and a great basketball game here at the Manahan Orthopedic Capital Center. We will be right back with you shortly. Thank you.
Oh, did you just see Briscoe?
Yeah.
I don't think his feet are touching the floor.
Holy cow, this place is packed. Hey, how's it going? Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are just after the pregame announcements with your starting lineups for tonight. To start off, the Huntington Foresters. We've got number 0, Landon Jordan. Number 3, Ben Hummerkraus. Number 11, Hank Pulver. Number 20, Lane Sparks. And number 55, Zach Goodline. And the starters for your Lancers, number 2, Carter Stoltzfus. 5, Cade Gibbs. 10, Jacob Gibbs. Number 32, Frankie Davidson. And then the big man in the middle, Elijah Malone. The MOCC is jam-packed for this Crossroads League championship game.
Cam, I was thinking about this while we were listening to that roar of the crowd. Neither one of these teams have really played in front of a crowd like this in college. The Grace students have been outstanding, but as far as a packed house, and we'll see if nerves affect either one of these squads.
Huntington does secure the tip. With the ball right now is Zach Goodline, a 20-point-per-game scorer. His first shot at the rim, no good. Rebound, Stoltzfus. This is a Lancers team, usually a slower-paced offense. It's been a struggle for a lot of teams defending them this season, as they will move the ball around, looking to go into Malone early, but they do not find him inside. Ball's now Jacob Gibbs, tees up a 3, bang! Jacob Gibbs gets the game started for Grace.
There's one.
You mentioned 5 to 7 threes for this Lancers team to compete with the 8th-ranked offense in the NAIA. Huntington. Grace number 12, steal, Cade Gibbs. Ball in Stoltzfus' hands. Elijah Malone, one of the star players for this Lancers team, had a huge week. Won Crossroads League Player of the Week as he tees up a 3. That one's good! Malone for 3.
Think our student body's pumped.
Loud as can be. Goodline with the ball now. Here's Lane Sparks. 50, 40, 85 shooting splits on the air. His first shot no good, but we're going to have our first foul on the floor. That one's going to go on Frankie Davidson. Here's another look at Malone's 3. Tees it up from deep as Huntington, a team used to fast starts. Goodline for 3. That one no good. Rebound Davidson. Stoltzfus, beautiful job inside, kicks it out. Cade Gibbs for 3. That one's off.
Not Cade's game. Not a great three-point shooter. Think he just kind of got caught up in the emotion of things.
There's Lane Sparks, turnaround jump shot, no good. Huntington has to deal with the home crowd tonight. Could play a huge factor. Malone tees up another one. That one's no good. And Stoltzfus now for 3. That one's good. Carter Stoltzfus, Lancers 3 threes to start off tonight's championship game.
I said we needed 5 to 7 threes. We don't need them all in the first 6 minutes.
Lancers have shot the 3 ball early, but they found it hitting the bottom of the net. Stoltzfus to Davidson. Off on the layup. Beautiful defense there from Huntington. They're going to get the ball now in transition as Sparks will put in the first basket of the game.
And that's their game. That's their game. Tip it out, run it out. They do run-outs an awful lot. They'll release the guard to shoot down the court. We've got to be made aware of that.
These two teams, completely different play styles. As you mentioned, Huntington, transition, shooting a lot of threes early in the shot clock. Grace, usually a team slow and through the paint, as Jacob Gibbs off on that 3. And then Gibbs will make it back up with the steal. He's going to push it in transition and get the foul call.
How he continued to dribble through the 2 of them and not get picked is beyond me.
Here we've got another look at the Stoltzfus three. Kicks it out to the corner. We've seen Stoltzfus with a much improved role as we've gone late season. It's because of moments like that. Brings a lot of intensity.
Well, those threes that fall are almost like a little cherry on top. It's his leadership, his quickness, and his defensive intensity. I mean, he is just a pest defensively.
There is Stoltzfus going to the lane. 5 points of the Lancers' 11. We mentioned this Lancers team likes to play from the inside. We've shot a lot of threes early. And the defense, as that lob goes down, a beautiful pass from Goodline and the finish from Landon Jordan.
That was a pretty little play. That was really nice. Nice lob. Jordan had himself set up perfectly.
You look at Jordan and Malone, two guys 6'9", 6'10", but play completely differently. Malone, the big body, Jordan, the lob threat. As Davidson wants to go to work down low. His jump shot is off, rebound Goodline. Zach Goodline wants to attack Stoltzfus, can't do it. There's a steal, 3-on-2 in the fast break. As Stoltzfus finds Cade Gibbs, who takes it up and makes it.
Now, Grace is deeper than Huntington, so you're going to see their bigs not want to pick up any kind of fouls because frontliners, they don't go real deep.
You can hear the Lancer Nation crowd defense chants after a beautiful start to this one as Jordan's going to find his second dunk of the game.
Lancers did a very poor job of switching on that. They both stayed out on the passer.
2 pick and rolls, 2 baskets for Huntington. As the Lancers just going to go back inside to Gibbs, who takes it up strong, makes the layup.
And that was, I dare you to try and block me. I'm coming in hard. Let's see what you can do against it. Good job by Jordan just backing off and giving up the bucket.
Just had the ball there. That's Ben Hummerkraus. He sat out the semifinal game as we're going to have a foul.
There was a pretty late whistle.
That's a second foul on Frankie Davidson. You can see Malone and Davidson maybe confused a little bit on a lack of talking on the pick and roll situation. Lancers lead this one 15-6, 14 minutes, 14 seconds.
And they are having to adjust the fans to standing room only and where they can stand and where they can't. It's the first time I've ever seen to our right, which would be to the team's left, that section up behind the basket, completely filled. And then that little pocket corner up there where you see Huntington fans by the American flag. I've never seen those two sections filled.
There is not an open seat in the MOCC tonight.
Yeah, if you get up for popcorn, you better enjoy eating it standing up.
Lancers hosting here. They will also have the opportunity to host in the NAIA first and second rounds. Those games will be next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Grace will play the 6 p.m. game on Tuesday, March 7th. And then the two winners will play at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, March 8th to advance to the round of 16 in Kansas City. You will see both of these teams, the Lancers and the Foresters, in that NAIA National Tournament. As it looks like we're going to have our first Lancer sub of the night. Jake Wadding is going to check in for Frankie Davidson.
And even though Frankie hadn't put any points on the board yet, the fact that he hadn't gotten into any kind of offensive rhythm yet makes it kind of tough because he'll probably be sitting quite a bit of the first half.
Here is Zach Goodline, the 20-point-per-game scorer for Huntington. He's been a problem for the Lancers for a few years now at Huntington.
9. He's been there for 9. Just such an exceptional player and such a bright player. Really very heady.
As the second free throw also good. We talked about in the pregame which team is going to have the ability to weather the first punch from the other side. Keeping this game close is going to be the key for both squads. As that ball was tried to lob into Cade Gibbs, with pretty good defense by the Foresters.
Well, they're going to do a nice job of collapsing. Anything that's thrown into the paint, you're going to see a sea of green.
Here is Grace. That's Stoltzfus with the ball in the corner. 8 seconds on the shot clock. As Gibbs is just going to attack Goodline. Take a little fadeaway on the baseline. That shot's good. Jacob Gibbs. Here is Huntington. Needs to find some offensive rhythm, as they're going to try to look for Goodline off the screen. Instead, they're going to back it back out. Goodline's going to attack left. Little pull-up jump shot. That one's good.
He's literally taking his shot up into his shooting pocket and starting to release before he even gets his feet set.
Goodline, one of the best tough shot makers in the NAIA.
And that's part of the reason why. Is, you go, why he's not that tall? How come you don't put a smaller player on him? Because his release is so quick, he gets it off before you can really get in his face.
Malone for three. That one's no good. Defensive rebound. It's number 14, Joel Dyer.
Okay, now we've chucked up an awful lot of threes early in the ball game and have not established any kind of interior presence at all.
Here's Goodline again. Wants to take on Stoltzfus. There's that defense you were talking about. High energy, stays with them. Goodline off on the tough shot, but the offensive rebound's good.
Jordan did a really nice job of just kind of backing Malone down underneath the basket, where he was able to get that offensive board.
There's that turnover we've seen a lot from the Lancers this year on the bad pass inside, as Malone's going to check out of the game. So is Gibbs and Stoltzfus. In for your Lancers, Lane Sparks back in the game for Huntington.
Now, you're going to see Lancers now at a size disadvantage. We'll see if Huntington tries to dump inside or if they stay with Sparks and Goodline, along with Jordan's killing us on the boards right now.
Landon Jordan, an ultra-athletic 6'9". He's going to be trouble if the Lancers don't devote to boxing him out. Here's a couple looks at the substitutions for Grace. Bryson Graver inside Wadding. Layup's no good. Gets his own rebound.
Wadding never really got his hands directly on that to be able to put it up.
Here's Jordan again, going to work down low. Bringing the energy for Huntington.
That's a good timeout by Coach Moore. You get out to that big lead because of threes, and now your offense is kind of sputtering, and defensively you're not doing much anything. You're kind of saying, Huntington, what do you want to do? And we hope you miss a shot.
Grace was up to a 17-8 lead, now 16-17. Grace still ahead. We talked about it in the pregame. This is going to be a game of runs. Who can stop whose momentum? Grace went on one to start the game. Here's Huntington's counter run. Question is, what will Grace do to counteract this event?
Well, Huntington's flow is much better than the Lancers are. The Lancers have hit some shots, but Huntington's been in a much better flow offensively.
As we will get back into gameplay.
The other thing you've got to look at with this group out on the floor, with Frankie and Malone both on the bench, where's scoring come from for the Lancers?
Miscommunication there from Scott to Wadding leads to another Lancers turnover.
Boy, there's nothing that just irritates you as a coach more than to call a timeout. You're probably setting something up specifically to try and get a bucket and give your team the opportunity to take a deep breath. Goodline hits a three, and then you throw the ball away.
That is Huntington's first lead of the game, 19-17. Gibbs looks to go inside. Here's Wadding. Good spin move.
We are really out of control right now.
Doesn't get the finish. Scott rebound. Doesn't get the finish. This is a dangerous moment for the Lancers in this first half. Need a stop. And they're not going to get it as another three falls. Hank Pulver from downtown.
Coach Moore knows this is a critical point in the ball game because he's putting Davidson back in.
Davidson, 2 fouls, had to sit. But Moore not happy with what the Lancers are getting on the offensive end. Almost another turnover there. And another three ball. That one's airballed. That's Sickafoose.
That's not.
Goodline wants to tee up the three. Over to Humrickhouse.
Sometimes one of the problems with hitting a couple threes early is you fall in love with it.
Lancers team percentage-wise, not a great three-point shooting team, only about 35%. Huntington on the other end, one of the best teams in the country from downtown. As here's Graber, kicks it out, Sickafoose, back to Graber. Really stagnant offense. Graber is going to have to take a step back. No good. Sickafoose does hustle, get the rebound. The Lancers need to do something on offense. Pull-up jump shot, no good.
We need to relax.
Lancers rushed the last few attempts. Goodline going to look to go to work on Sickafoose. Does and gets the finish.
That's one of the things that Huntington's really good at is really speeding you up. Timeout by Coach Alford's, a 30-second timeout. Frankly, kind of surprised Coach Alford called that.
Huntington on a big run here. We're down 17-10, now 17-24. Grace doesn't have any momentum right now on the offensive end, as they're going to put Davidson back in the game. Wouldn't surprise me if we see Malone again very shortly. We talked about this leading up to this championship game. The one team Grace should have had circled on their schedule was this Huntington team, knowing coming in on an 11-game win streak, and that Huntington's last loss was to this Lancers team at Huntington. Here is Graber. He's going to find Davidson. Davidson to Sickafoose. David's just going to take the three. He's going to miss it. It's probably not the shot you want from Coach Moore. Goodline working to operate again. As Huntington, that shot's off.
Grace really hasn't stopped Huntington. Huntington stopped themselves a couple times, but
there is Wadding, goes to the rim and gets the foul call. It's probably the Lancers' first good look in about 5 minutes.
Lancers looking a bit shell-shocked here early. Well, Cam, you called it. Malone back in the ballgame.
Second free throw for Wadding is good. 24-19 Foresters. Here's Lane Sparks. Hasn't gotten much going early, hasn't needed to. As there's another lob in the slam dunk.
Okay, they've rolled that 3 times. Think we might catch on?
Landon Jordan, 3 dunks to start off his night. As the Lancers going to look to go into Malone. Malone's going to use his body, uses the pump fake, and gets the call.
Did a nice job with those pump fakes of getting Jordan off his feet.
That's something I feel like has got to be a big focus for Grace, is trying to get Landon Jordan in foul trouble. Really the one guy with the size to compete with Malone. So we're going to have our under 8 media timeout. We will be back with you shortly.
The strengths of this program is that we're pairing nutrition with the fitness education. If you're going to go the fitness route, we make the most gains with clients and personnel when we add the nutrition component. Our body is something that God gave us. He created us and He purposed us to move and to be focused on making sure that we're practicing stewardship with our body. We're caring and understanding how we move and what types of movements we do, and then practicing good principles of I care about what I eat and I care about what I put into my body. I just think the wealth of knowledge now for the student in this major is going to be huge, because we're preparing them for multiple situations that they'll be encountering people that are asking for help. And when I interview or talk to students that are interested in our school, they're very interested in nutrition. So I wanted to make a pathway for those students to find a place at Grace and have that opportunity at a small private Christian college to study something that they want to study.
And we are back, 7.5 minutes remaining, 26-19. Huntington Foresters lead. Malone at the free throw line for 2 shots. Lancers got out to an early lead, but Huntington has battled back and gotten hot from downtown. Lancers offense been sputtering here late in the first half. Really do need to find some momentum.
Well, they have not. There's no rhythm to it. You know, we've taken some threes and hit those, and we fell in love with them, including a couple folks taking them that's really not their shot. And honestly, it's not like the game's out of reach, for goodness sakes. We're down 6 points, and this team's so good at coming back. It's just a matter of chilling, getting under control, and getting our game back. You really have to credit Huntington. They have played exceptionally well and didn't panic when Grace hit those early threes.
Here is Humrickhouse. He was the pregame questionable, did end up suiting up for Huntington. As Goodline going to take the step back 3. That one's good. Zach Goodline from downtown. 3-point shot is a threat for this Huntington team. As Davidson going to go to the rim, finds the lane.
That's exactly what we need. Malone popped out of the lane. It opened up the paint. Frankie put it on the paint and really just kind of cut it in himself.
Goodline tees up another one. That one's way off. And here comes Graber. Finds the no-look pass to Solsfoos into Wadding. Wadding with the finish. It's exactly the start you wanted to see out of the media timeout for Grace. Couple stops and a couple scores. As the Lancer crowd will get loud again. 2-point mid-range shot is good. Basket by Jackson Paul.
Huntington has to be shooting about 60-65%.
Huntington 60% right now, 13 of 22 from the field. As they skip it corner, Davidson for 3. That one's no good. Jordan with the rebound. Here is Jordan. Great start to the half for him. Hummelkraus tries to drive, doesn't have anything. There's Lane Sparks, gets all the way to the rim and a tough finish. And we're going to have a travel violation on Bryson Graber.
But credit Alex Darnell. Darnell just kind of jumped in on, if we take it past this and we see this turnover, we're going to see Darnell jumped in on Graber. Graber wasn't expecting him and traveled.
Here is Goodline. Goes to the rim. Tough finish, no good. Those are the shots he is really good at. Look for him to keep feeding it that way. Big block, Landon Jordan.
And what a great job he did of maintaining the block by keeping the ball in bounds.
As Goodline looks for the floater again. That one no good. Offensive rebound no good. Ball is corralled by Malone. And then almost had another turnover, but that ball deflected out of bounds. Grace basketball.
Well, Scott Moore rolled the dice. He put Frankie back in. Davidson did a great job of helping stem the tide, got a bucket or two himself. Kind of gave some confidence back to this Lancer offense and then get him back out before he can pick up his third. The gamble paid off.
Gracetown needs to get the ball inbounds. Ball tipped. Finds Stoltzfus. Here is Carter. Looks to drive. Create from the mid-range. Tough shot, no good.
In the meantime, we've got Malone standing there on the blocks, just kind of, guys, I'm here.
Here is Goodline. 4 minutes remaining in the half. Goodline looks to try and operate, finds Sparks. Sparks to the rim. Makes the tough layup over Jacob Gibbs. Huntington's lead back to 10.
Lancers halftime's not going to be pretty. Coach Moore can't be happy with the Lancers defense. Huntington has just sliced and diced them.
Bad pass from Scott to Malone. Another turnover. Huntington's going to push it in transition. Looked like Goodline wanted the three, didn't take it. Instead, attack to the rack. Sent back by Malone.
Grace needed that, and Malone needed that. Huntington had done a tremendous job of taking him out of the game. And, sometimes the block or big defensive play can get Malone going.
Three-point shot is good. Hank Pulver. As here is Huntington. 13-point lead. And a timeout by Grace.
Remember, Grace was up 17-8. So they have scored 21 to our 8. And we haven't even had that many good looks. Huntington's done a really nice job defensively, taking us out of it, getting in passing lanes, tipping things away. Jordan's had a couple great blocks.
Other than the 3 early threes from the Lancers, not much offense going their way.
Well, their first 9 points are all 3 threes.
Made their first 3 since then, just 3 for 10 from the three-point line. Huntington, on the other hand, 4 for 7 and 16 for 28 from the field. 57% from the field, 57% from 3. Grace, 34% from the field, 30% from 3.
I want to wish the Tigers down the road good luck on their sectional quest beginning tonight.
As Grace will have the ball, bringing it towards Huntington. 3.5 minutes remaining in the half. Landon Jordan, 12 points, and Goodline, 12 points, lead the game. Huntington doing a great job of helping over on Malone, as we're going to have a foul down low on the Malone catch.
But you see what a great job they did of as soon as they're not waiting for the catch. I know this may sound really strange, but they're not. Huntington's not waiting until we're catching the ball and then reacting. They are reacting while the ball is in the air on a pass, and therefore they're getting a lot of anticipation, just like that.
There's another turnover. Goodline forces up the layup, no good. Stoltzfus now going to push in transition. Finds Gibbs. And we're going to have a charge call on Jacob Gibbs. Good job by Huntington getting back in a disadvantaged situation. Here's another look at the charge.
That's one of those, if you're wearing red, you say that's a terrible call. If you're wearing green, that's a magnificent call. That could have gone either way.
Here is Lane Sparks, takes the mid-range jump shot. That shot good. Huntington cannot miss right now. Lead up to 15. As Grace is still yet to find any rhythm on the offensive end. Going to go inside to Scott. Good hands. And he's going to, well, doesn't turn it over yet. We're going to have a jump ball.
Lancers ball.
Possession to Grace.
We have not been strong with the basketball, Cam. We have not been strong at all.
As Malone now going to come out of the game, Davidson and Wadding back in for your Lancers.
Now this is the lineup we don't see often, where no Malone nor no Scott.
Ben Humrickhouse checks back into the game for Huntington. As Grace goes over the top to Wadding. Huntington dealing with the size mismatches very well, as Grace doesn't even get a shot off. Grace looks flustered here in this first half.
We took the ball out of bounds, and there was no communication or awareness of how much time was on the shot clock.
Here is Humrickhouse. Looking to find Sparks, does end up finding Sparks. Sparks to the rim, doesn't find it. Jordan inside, and we're going to have a foul call probably on Cade Gibbs.
Lancers just totally out of sorts, offensively and defensively.
Here is Jordan. 13 points on the game now, looking to make it 14 with his next free throw.
But you have to credit that to Huntington. They've caused that.
You mentioned the way Huntington plays. Very fast-paced, not just on offense, but on defense too, trying to speed up Grace. As a little shot clock malfunction, we'll see the Lancers have to pass the ball back in.
Well, Cam, Huntington's really aggressive. By that, I mean they push the ball at the basket. You don't see them going a whole lot of side to side. They're going north and south in attack mode.
Here is Davidson. Good pressure from Goodline on the ball screen. Switching defense has the Lancers all out of sorts. They're going to look inside to Wadding. Good pass, and Wadding gets the bucket. Lancers really need to finish out this last 90 seconds well. As Jordan looking for Goodline. Stoltzfus, pretty good defense. Finds Sparks, step back jumper. That one's no good. Rebound Wadding, kicks it up to Gibbs. And Gibbs misses the dunk. And Cade Gibbs misses the layup. Here's Goodline back on the other end. Layup no good. Jordan inside.
Oh, my. One official saying that foul's got to be on Jordan because of the rule of verticality, and the other official, I'm not quite sure what he's blowing his whistle about.
Looks like we may have had a flop warning call.
There's no warning anymore. You flop, you get teed. See, there's the rule of verticality, but that flop, I think, was on the other end over in the corner because the shortest official's the one that made that call, and we didn't see it. Our monitor kind of blocks us.
Here we'll get a better look. No, it looks like we just had some pushing between Gibbs and Goodline. Still trying to figure out what the call is. Both teams have returned to their benches. Looks like we're going to have a foul on Huntington's Landon Jordan.
Okay, so then if that's the call, then what in gracious name are we conferring about over at the scorer's table? I mean, if you look at the look on the Lancers' faces right there, they're in shock right now. It's not the fact that they trail, because we've trailed before, but Huntington has just put a whooping on the Lancers, and that hasn't happened throughout the entire season.
Even the game Huntington beat Grace earlier in the season was a close game up until the very end, where Huntington squeaked it out on this home floor.
I'll tell you what, the way Huntington's played this first half, they could beat anybody in the country, for goodness sakes.
We'll get another angle of what happened. I think they're looking at this pushing and shoving down here between Goodline and Gibbs. We had some talking going on. I don't know if they're checking for clock or for any technical foul. As the officials will reconvene at half court. We do have a fourth official present on the scorer's table doing replays. .41 seconds remain.
Well, my goodness, this has been a 4-minute delay, and they're still not done yet.
As one of the head officials will head over to Coach Moore.
We got an official in each coach's ear and then one at the bench.
I don't know if we're going to have maybe a double technical call for the pushing and shoving.
If I'm Huntington, I'm going ballistic over this. It's like, come on, guys.
We will have that double technical foul called on 55 Goodline and then Cade Gibbs for Grace, as the game will finally regain possession to Grace. As a backdoor cut, Davidson throws it down. Great draw up from Coach Moore.
And I'll guarantee you, Marcus Moore is sitting in the stands someplace going, wait a minute. Scott and I brought that here from Columbia City High School. We used to run that 2 or 3 times a game when we were both playing. Way to pull it out of the archives, Scotty.
Maybe the last possession of this first half here. Goodline looking to operate, trying to get to the rim. Does. Tough shot, no good. As Wadding gonna put it up. No good.
And boy, Davidson took a hell of a chance trying to block that shot.
Here's the beautiful backdoor cut. Davidson with the throwdown as your Lancers get a tiny bit of momentum as they trail this one 43-29. We will be back with some second half analysis in the start of the second half here very soon.
Welcome to Grace College. Today on your visit, you're going to see what life of a Grace College student looks like on campus and down at the Village. The Winona Lake Village is just a brief 5-minute walk off campus. Down at the Village, we have lots of different coffee shops, restaurants, and boutiques for students to use their flex money at. Light Rail is a coffee shop, and they also have the best fire-baked pizzas. Connected to campus, we have about 20 miles worth of trails. That's going to include mountain biking trails and regular walking trails. They're connected to campus and they go down through the Village. Living in Winona Lake gives us the great opportunity to take advantage of living in a lake town. Any student or person in the community can go on our Grace Boat for free and enjoy a nice boat ride or even some tubing. There's a lot of fun activities down at the lake, but there's also a lot of things to do on campus. Let's head back up there and take a look. Grace College is located on a beautiful campus that gives us a lot of space for on-campus activities like spike ball, hammocking, and longboard. The Grace Intramural program puts on a bunch of different tournaments for us. One of them that we do in the fall would be spike ball. We spend a whole weekend playing spike ball, and the winner of the tournament gets a free t-shirt. Grace's campus offers a lot of different areas for students to relax and study on campus. We have great hammocking trees that provide a lot of shade. Most students' favorite way to get to class is through longboarding, biking, and even scootering. All right, let's go take a look at some of the academic buildings on campus. These academic buildings on campus are where you're going to have some of your classes. It's also a great place to go study and talk with your professors. The Science Center is one of our newer academic buildings on campus. It was built in 2018, and it's a great home for our science and math students. The Lilly Center for Lakes and Streams is a great resource for our environmental science students. Here is where they can put to practice the skills that they've learned in the classroom through jobs and internships. They do a lot of research with the hundreds of lakes and streams in our county. Mount Memorial is the home to our behavioral science department, art department, and education department. Our education department is one of our biggest and fastest growing majors on campus. The lower level of the MOCC is home to our business and accounting majors. The business department is our largest department on campus, and it has a lot of different concentrations. If you ever have any questions, your professor would love to talk with you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some dorms. We offer a lot of different options for residential dorms on campus, including community style and non-community style dorms. A typical room in Omega is going to be a 2-person room. This 2-person room does have a vanity and sink in it because this is a community style bathroom. Community style bathroom means that you share the bathroom with all the people on your floor. Each room in Omega has a thermostat so you can control the temperature in your room. Because Omega is our largest dorm on campus, it does have a lot of different features. That would include a full-sized kitchen on the 2nd floor and a movie theater room on the 3rd floor. The lodge is very similar to Omega, it's just a bit smaller and has more of a cabin feel. Westminster Hall is one of our most interesting dorms on campus because it actually used to be an old hotel. Another great feature of Westminster is that every room has its own bathroom. If you're interested in being a Grace College athlete, or if you're just interested in playing intramurals, we'll go take a look at some options for you on campus. We have a lot of different facilities on campus if you're interested in being an athlete or if you're just interested in sports. This is the Gordon Health and Wellness Center. In here we have 2 different weight rooms. One is a general weight room for all students, faculty, and staff, and the other is a green room that's for athletes only. Connected to the G-Hawk is the Field House. The Field House has our indoor track. It's also where we participate in our intramurals, and it's also where you and your friends can just go and shoot some hoops. The MOCC is where we have our home basketball and volleyball games. It's also one of the largest and nicest arenas in our conference. The Miller Field Complex is about a quarter mile down the road, and that's where our outdoor tennis courts, soccer fields, baseball and softball fields, and our outdoor track is. Thanks for joining me today on our tour of Grace College campus. For more information, you can visit our website.
I think everybody wants to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. And I think when you get to our program and you see that, you get a sense of, man, I kind of want to be a part of that. It looks fun what they're doing, and it is fun. It's fun to work hard and to do it the right way. We need the right type of kid for who we are and what we believe in. You know, I want guys who get after it. I think that one of the best compliments somebody can give our team is, man, I can't believe how hard your team works. I can't believe how hard they play, how hard they practice. The last thing we want our kids to do is think back and say, man, you know what, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that differently. And so the more we can instill that early on, where every single day matters, every possession matters, every practice matters, every game matters, every test matters, doing the little things better than everybody else is kind of what's going to separate your team from another team. And sure, we have goals and aspirations, right? We want to win a national championship. We want to hang banners in the OCC. But again, those are goals that are out here. And I think sometimes we forget about the steps it takes to achieve those goals. And so maybe more so focusing on what's the day-to-day, what's it look like. It all matters. Every day we're in a job interview, every day.
Here at Grace College, we make the application process quick and simple, so there are no roadblocks on your path to Grace. All you have to do is go to grace.edu/application. It takes 5 minutes to complete, it's free, there are no essay questions, and you'll get an admissions decision in 2 weeks or less. It's that simple. At Grace College, we shape powerful perspectives and launch purposeful lives. It's not just the tradition in which we were founded, but it's the future that we embrace. Start your journey with Grace College and apply today.
You know, we always say in our program, you're either competing or you're not. You know, and that's life. You're always going to have to compete every day. You're going to have to compete every day. It's playing for each other, playing as hard as you can, leaving everything on the floor, do things right, be unselfish, love one another, and glorify God. And we just believe those characteristics you can apply on and off the court, and they're the foundation of our program. If you're looking for that Christian education and still playing basketball or whatever your sport of choice, you got an opportunity to come here and play at a competitive high level, but at the same time you're going to get the spiritual development and grow and develop in our walk with the Lord and our faith, and just having that passion to get better in every area of our life, having that passion to improve, having that passion to challenge ourselves and know that we can do more, we can reach higher heights. The experience that you're going to get in your 4 years when you come here, you're going to take a trip. You're going to go somewhere where you're going to experience something different. You're going to learn about what it takes to be successful. You know, you have to have the self-discipline to get in the gym. You know, you have to have the work ethic. You have to be unselfish. You got to know it's not about you, it's about the we. Big time is not where you are. Big time is how you do it. And at Grace and in Grace Athletics, you know, we may be a small school, but we do it big time.
Fire down in your bones. It's when it goes wrong, then comes a song. We've got spirit, and I know you feel it. There's no give up, give up, give up, give up enough. We got spirit.
I feel like we're beating ourselves more than they're beating us. You give me something
Not real good right now. That's what I've seen you.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Can you give us like 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Yep. Hello and welcome back to the MOCC for this Crossroads League title matchup between Huntington and Grace. Huntington leads the Lancers 43-29 here. The end of that first half, Jerry, so much went good and so much went wrong in one half for that Lancers team. What are they going to need to do to rebound?
Well, I know this is the old coach in me, and Scotty's forgotten more and Alper's forgotten more in the last 15 minutes than I ever knew, but we'll take a crack at this. All right. Lancers hit their first 3 threes. Didn't hit another one the rest of the half. We fell in love with the 3 early. We didn't establish any kind of interior game. Second, we've turned the basketball over more than twice as much as Huntington has. We have shot the ball terribly, and Huntington's been rather blistering. I mean, if we go through the stats, everything's just Huntington, Huntington, Huntington. We can go through individuals for them. We do not have anybody close to being in double figures. Jacob Gibbs, the closest, was 7. Huntington's got 2. Goodline and Jordan both with double figures with 12 and 15 respectively. I don't think Scott really raised Kane with them a whole lot at halftime. You know, there's a time when you've got to read your team on when it's time to put a foot in their posterior, and a time when you've kind of got to read them and say, okay, for whatever reason, we were a little bit spooked. And remember I talked about during warm-ups how focused and energetic Huntington looked? I didn't say anything negatively about Grace, but I didn't see that same kind of focus in our pregame as I did against Marion. I think what Scott did more than anything else was calm his team down about, guys, look, if we go, right now we're on pace to give up 90 points. We're going to have a difficult time beating Huntington. If we give up 90, that means we've got to score 95 or 100 to win. That's going to be pretty tough against a really good team. So I tell you what, let's focus on one possession, one at a time, and just get ourselves back into it. Let's divide this sucker up into 4-minute sections, and each 4 minutes, let's try to cut 4 points out. If we do that, we're right there at the end. We talked about this multiple times before. The first 5 minutes of this half is absolutely critical. If Huntington gets on any kind of roll, it's game over. They're just going to be too far out of reach. If Grace can get on a run and get it under 10 and then just peck away with a point a minute for the rest of the game, then they're going to be in good shape. So that's why these first 5 minutes critical.
You mentioned the leaders for the Foresters. Let's talk some team stats. Huntington, 18 of 34 from the field, shooting 53%. Grace, on the other hand, 11 of 30, just under 37% from the field. Then from the three-point line, the Lancers have taken 10, only made 3. And then Huntington is 4 out of their 7 attempts.
Would you have believed it if we'd have said at halftime Huntington took less threes than we did in the first half?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The Lancers only 14 points in the paint. That's been their calling card all year. Huntington with 20 points in the paint. And then Grace also leads the turnover battle 9-4.
And we only had one fast break. One fast break. Normally we can be counted on for 8 to 12 points a game, not in cherry picks where we throw the ball the length of the floor for an easy layup, but where we get the ball outletted, get a 3-on-2, a 4-on-3, overwhelm people as we attack the basket. Of course, Huntington missed a whole lot of shots in order for us to, tear down a rebound and head to the other end of the floor.
As the second half gets ready to start, we remind you that next week Grace College will be hosting the first and second rounds of the NAIA National Tournament. Those games both will be at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, and then if Grace wins, they'll play at 6 p.m. the following day, Wednesday night, as Huntington gets the start for the second half. Same starters for both teams on the floor. As Huntington's first shot comes at the rim, no good. Rebound Malone. Here is Grace. Needs to get something going in the second half. Very sporadic offensively in the first. As Davidson wanted the pull-up mid-range shot, wasn't there. They'll move it. Stolzfus for three. That one's no good. Rebound by Landon Jordan.
Jordan has done a spectacular job of keeping Malone negated on the boards, and not very many people all season have done that.
This is a Lancer team that averages 42 rebounds a game, over 6 more than what Huntington does. But tonight, that rebound difference going Huntington's way.
Malone with a beautiful block against Jordan, but Huntington able to scoop it up and put it in.
As Jordan makes another huge play there on Davidson, gets the block.
He has been the player of the game so far.
Jordan, we already mentioned 15 points. Should be his 4th block. His 2nd on Davidson at the rim. As Gibbs tries to drive inside, they'll move it around. Cade Gibbs for 3. That shot no good as well. Stolzfus almost got the rebound. But Lane Sparks corrals it.
Threes are not Cade's game. He's a slasher. He puts the ball on the floor and attacks the basket, especially at angles he's dang near impossible to stop.
Great defense from Malone down low. They'll hit Jacob Gibbs, who lays the ball in. First basket of the second half for Grace.
Nice job by Malone of tapping that pass away.
The pick and roll has hurt the Lancers all evening. Malone made the necessary change there. He's playing a little bit more of a drop coverage. The second half, 3-point shot up, no good. Rebound Stolzfus. Lancers another chance to run. He finds Davidson, and he makes the layup.
Wait, what did I say we didn't have any of? We had one of them in the whole first half.
Fast break points. Going to be key for the Lancers in this second half. So we see the defensive intensity start to pick up. As Huntington will find Goodline. He's going to drive left on Stolzfus. Floater shot, no good. Rebound Malone. Malone's going to bring the ball up the court by himself. And we're going to have a charge on Malone. Great job by Hank Pulver setting himself up.
And it was nice seeing Malone get the rebound. But, man, he gets that load going full tilt. If you've got guts enough, step in front of him, it's pretty difficult for him to stop. He just needed to give that up to a guard before he reached the 10-second line.
Pulver has now taken 2 charges this game on Malone.
Let's see, if he'd have given that up and we get a bucket, we got a 10-point game. And there's a whole lot of momentum rolling in the Lancers' direction.
Sparks tried to create Lancer fans very unhappy with the foul call. That'll be on Jacob Gibbs. It's his second. Here's another look. Foul. Gibbs did hit the arm there on Sparks on his way up. Sparks, an 85% free throw shooter. This whole Huntington team, great at the line, over 78% on the year.
Yeah, they're one of the leading free throw shooting teams in the country.
Mentioned Sparks pregame. He now hits double digits for Huntington. It's his 10th point. As the Lancers have found some momentum early in this second half, let's see if they can continue it as Hummerkaus blocks Jacob Gibbs' layup attempt. Lancers look to go into Malone, and Huntington's still there on the pass. As Malone with the dunk gets the Lancers crowd into this one.
Did you say that with the statement dunk?
Absolutely. Fakes the give and go, takes it to the rack all by himself. Here is Goodline, the Lancers crowd getting into it now. Goodline's going to operate, takes Stoltzfus to the rack. That shot no good, and we're going to have a foul on Jordan.
I did not see the foul on Jordan, but we've got quite a bit of crowd in between both groups.
There's another look at the big Malone dunk.
That's the kind of dunk that make me glad that I'm not a rim or a floor.
Elijah Malone has had plenty of big dunks this year for the Lancers. Stoltzfus looks to operate down low. Every fan in the gym on their feet as Malone going to go back to the rack.
That's going to be another charge.
And another charge.
Come on, man. You got to play under control.
On Malone. That one drawn by Goodline. That's Malone's second foul, both on charges in the second half.
See, he could have stopped and dropped that off to Gibbs and had an easy bucket. And why are you throwing your hands up to the ceiling like, you know, I didn't touch him? For goodness sakes, you clobbered him and bowled him over.
Huntington has responded well to Lancer runs all night as Lane Sparks goes to the rim. Shot is blocked by Malone. Lancers can run in transition. 3-on-2. They find Davidson. Goes to the rack. Misses. Put back. Tipped in. Cade Gibbs.
Great job by Gibbs of staying awake and staying right there. We need a Warner ladder or something in order to be able to see over the top.
Here is Sparks. Goes to the rim. Good defense, Gibbs. Lancers will get possession. And Huntington's going to have to take a timeout. Here's a look at the putback layup by Gibbs.
Coach Alfredoff having a word with the officials saying, okay, did that shot get tipped? The official said no. Didn't argue it, just questioning. Now this would be the Lancers' first opportunity to get under 10 in quite a while.
Lancers needed to go on a big run to start the second half. They have done a pretty good job so far. Huntington still doing a pretty good job at keeping them at bay. There's a look at the coaching staff for Huntington. Had an excellent season this year. 15th in the country. There's another shot of the crowd we have here. We got standing room only. Every seat in the MOCC packed full.
We're at 15:28 to play in the second half, and Grace has only scored 37 points.
Low-scoring offensive night for Grace, but the defensive intensity much better to start this second half. They'll have the ball coming out of this timeout. See Malone probably arguing about that charge call he had earlier.
All right, this is the type game that at this point, Frankie Davidson needs to take over for about a 4 or 5 minute stretch.
Davidson on the short list for National Player of the Year. One of the most talented players in the country. As big miscommunication there Another miscommunication as Jacob Gibbs now going to go to the lane. Bad pass is corralled. Never mind. Turned over.
Okay, that was 5 possible turnovers that we actually did finally turn it over. That was
good
terrible.
Going to attack. Kick out for 3. 3 ball is good. Jackson Paul, just his second bucket of the game.
They have been much more judicious when they have shot threes.
And we're going to have a foul down low on Paul, trying to get around Cade Gibbs. Wadding is going to sub in for the Lancers. He's going to sub in for Cade Gibbs. As the Lancers will get this one into Wadding. Good defensive pressure from Huntington all night has caused Grace a ton of problems. They do have a mismatch down low. Don't get the ball fed to him. Gibbs for 3. Malone does get the rebound. He's going to go back up strong.
Good to see his decision to just lay it in soft.
Huntington still an 11-point lead, but Grace is in striking distance. They can string together a couple stops. Paul's just going to take the 3. No good, but an offensive rebound. Good by Sparks, and then Sparks going to get called for the foul.
I think that was a frustration foul by Sparks on him missing that bunny.
Here's another look at that Malone rebound and follow. We mentioned Huntington's done a pretty good job of keeping Malone off the glass. It's going to be huge for Grace if he can provide some support.
Well, if Malone's going to get momentum going, he's got to do it while Jordan's on the bench.
Here is Grace. Looks for the back door for Frankie Davidson. Layup no good. That one just rimmed out, but it is going to be Grace ball.
How many buckets we have just left at the paint.
As now Malone going to come out of the game. Here's another look. Davidson just doesn't get the finger roll to go.
Didn't have a great angle. He was kind of flat on the backboard.
3 ball by Davidson. That one's good. Frankie Davidson for 3.
Come on, baby.
8-point game as Grace tries to claw themselves back into this one.
Oh, we said, first 5 minutes, if we can just get ourselves close. Don't have to do it all at once.
Goodline tries to isolate. 2-point shot, no good. Rebound Davidson. Stolzfus going to push the ball on the other end. Doesn't like what he sees. He's going to back it back out.
Good decision.
They go inside to Wadding for the layup. 8-point game. Or 6-point game, excuse me.
Now that's the Grace Lancer team we've seen with a whole lot of touch passing and excellent movement without the ball. Cam, would you say the crowd's back in it?
Absolutely. Lancer Nation going nuts. You mentioned this high-low the Lancers have played all year. One touch passing as Wadding gets the layup to go.
I feel like I'm in a Catholic mass. We've been up and down and up and down and up and down about 47 times throughout this ball game.
Grace offense starting to find its rhythm in the second half. We've got just under 13 minutes remaining in this one.
But what's been the key to this run?
Getting stops.
It's been movement without the ball, and on the defensive end, getting some stops and not letting them have offensive stickbacks. It's all rolled off our offensive energies, come off of defense.
Here is Goodline. Huntington trying to get in rhythm again. As Jordan now back in the game, he's got Ian Scott guarding him. That's a matchup to look out for. As Goodline goes to the line. makes the layup. He's going to have a free throw.
They've done a really nice job of taking Scott out of this ball game, and that's been difficult to do. We haven't seen that happen for 2 seasons.
Here is Goodline to complete the three-point play. No good. Lancers need a basket on this end to continue their momentum, and it's going to be Scott. He's going to have free throws of his own.
It's either be on Goodline or Sparks, one of the two.
Call's going to be on Sparks. Only his second foul. Huntington not in foul trouble. That's key going late into the game.
I wondered how much longer Coach Alford was going to go without Jordan. And the answer is not long. He's back in the ball game. Lancers now at the point where they're back in the game. You know, they don't need to try and make it up all at once. A point a minute, and you're in great shape.
As Scott makes both of his free throws. Not enough can be said about Ian Scott's contribution to this Lancers team. He's number 1 in the NAIA in shooting percentage from the field at over 71%. And that's what else he does on the defensive end. As here comes Graber up the floor, finds Davidson, bang! Frankie Davidson for 3.
Okay, now if you're Huntington, it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
3-point game. Davidson on Goodline. Hummerkaus for 3. That shot no good. And we're going to have a foul on Jordan.
Oh, man, that's a tough call.
Here's another look at the Davidson 3 in transition.
Well, we talked about that Davidson has to come to life a few minutes ago. He's had a drive to the basket, a backdoor cut, a beautiful touch pass, and a 3. I'd say that's coming to life pretty well.
We're going to have the officials meet at half court.
Now what in gracious names for? These guys meet more than NFL officials. And if you notice, the 4th official's really not involved in the conversation. He's just kind of sitting there off to the side. I hate like heck to take momentum away at this point. Let's get back out and play basketball.
Frankie Davidson, 14 points on the night now. He's tied with 2 other Lancers with 14 points. Mentioned there was no one even close to double figures in scoring for Grace at the start of the second half. And now, just over 8 minutes in, we've got 3 over double figures and 2 almost at that mark. As Graber just gives up the ball at the top of the key. They're going to go inside to Hummerkaus, who finishes at the other end. Lancers back into it. You mentioned they got to play slow and controlled. Here is Davidson. Tries to attack. Double team comes. Davidson going to catch it now on the skip. Going to go to work on Hummerkaus. Feeds it inside. Scott layup. No good.
That's going to be a foul on 14, I think, on a push on... Yep.
Ian Scott will go back to the line.
You know, with this particular lineup, you really don't have a guy in the post. You've got 5 guys out and everybody cutting.
Here's another look. Davidson, beautiful pump fake and a great feed. There's that push as Ian Scott makes the first free throw. Hits the second as well. We mentioned for all the Lancers' struggles this game, one thing they have done well, they are 8 for 8 from the free throw line. As Goodline wants to operate. Good defense by Gibbs.
Lancers have done a nice job of making Huntington start their offense a
Beautiful
long way
block.
out.
Beautiful block by Scott. Wadding on the other end. Finish no good. Scott with the follow.
What a great job by Scott of having court sense and saying, I'm not going to get the ball, but I'm going to hit the rim. Because Jake did not have a good angle off the backboard on that.
The Huntington lead down to 1. As the Lancer faithful are going nuts. Lane Sparks for 2. No good. Rebound Wadding. Wadding needs to slow it down. Will find Davidson.
For any of you old-timers, do you remember Hoosier Hysteria? Packed gyms on a Friday night? It's that way at the MOCC right now.
Lancers with the chance to take the lead. Here is Davidson. Wants the ball screen. He gets it. Inside, Scott. We're going to have a shot clock violation. Here's a look at the Scott putback dunk. Like you said, smart job by him. Followed the shot rather than just giving up on the play, thinking Wadding was going to make the layup.
Or rather than pout because he didn't get the basketball and start down in the other direction.
Lane Sparks for 3. That's good. Huntington answers.
And Sparks is such a hard-nosed kid. I mean, he's just gritty.
Here is Grace. Scott with the ball now. Gonna go inside to Kate. Ooh, beautiful job by Goodline. We're trying to go into Gibbs.
And then a silly foul by Gibbs. Just ran him down the sideline out of bounds.
There's another look at the big Sparks 3 as Graber is going to go sit and Stoltzfus comes into this one. Huntington just a 4-point lead. We're up by as many as 16. As Goodline goes to the rim, floater's way off, and that's going to be Lancer basketball.
Lancers don't need to take the lead, but the Lancers have got to keep the pressure on Huntington. We cannot afford to let Huntington get out to another 10 or 12-point lead because emotionally it's too difficult to come back from those 2 or 3 times in a ball game.
Elijah Malone now enters the game for Jacob Gibbs. As here's Scott and Stoltzfus moving the ball around, trying to go into Malone. Instead they find Scott, who finds Wadding, and we're going to have a blocking call. Foul on Pulver. That's going to send Wadding to the free throw line. Grace in the bonus.
Jake's going to get another one. We got a lane violation. Sparks fell into the lane.
Wadding makes the second free throw. He's going to have another one because of the lane violation. That one's also good.
Now see, that's where something as simple as a lane violation, those kind of plays on either direction can just make such a gigantic difference in ball games like this.
Here is Sparks. Kicks it out to the corner. 3-ball, good. Shot made. That's Joel Dyer. As Wadding answers on the other end. Sparks now, step back three in transition, no good. Never mind. Find its way in. Stoltzfus to Malone. Trying to find him inside, and they will. Elijah Malone! Big time dunk.
Culver's like, where's my help? The player behind him goes, I'm not getting in the way of that.
Still a 4-point lead for Huntington. Another floater attempt from Goodline, no good, gets his own rebound, and he's going to be fouled by Wadding.
Can't let those 50-50 balls go like that. And we're going to have a media timeout, give everybody a chance to catch their breath. Grant, take us away for about 45 seconds.
What's really cool, I think, for some learners, they really excel in the online environment. But it gives you that freedom as a student to learn when you learn best because, you know, the world's different today. We got a rich history here in Winona Lake, Indiana with a college and a seminary campus. But at the end of the day, it's our professors. It's the people behind the screen. They really have an authentic desire and care for our students to grow and develop. I think what's rich and exciting is that some of our professors are doing the job that the students are studying. We need more leaders. We need more people that are spreading the good news of the two biggest commandments God gave us. We as Christians, when we're equipped with this competency of business or counseling or ministry leadership, whatever it is, our students stand out. And I think they stand out because they've been able to think and process that.
We are back, just under 7 minutes remaining. Here's another look at the Malone dunk inside as the Lancers continue to scratch and claw their way back into this one. Ball will be in Huntington's possession. The Wadding foul.
Well, the Lancers have definitely showed what kind of heart they've got, Cam.
So as a team, down by almost 20 points earlier in the first half, almost had no rhythm. And now they're back into it. And a big steal. Malone all the way for the dunk.
And there's fire breathing from Malone's ears right now.
So they kick it out. Humrickhouse for three. That one's off. Rebound Davidson.
Relax.
Move the ball outside. Inside to Malone. He's getting hit on the arm, and they're going to call the foul. Here's another look at the Malone steal.
He might have got away with an extra step on that.
Malone at the free throw line with the chance to tie this ball game. Wadding will check out. Cade Gibbs back into the game for the Lancers.
Wadding, just a superb defensive effort, and what a job on the defense or on the offensive boards.
We have a tie ball game. 6.5 minutes remaining.
It's the way it should be.
Defense chance coming from the Lancer student section. Here is Sparks. He's had the hot hand as of late. That shot no good.
Go to Gibbs. Go to Gibbs. He's got Sparks on him, and Sparks is mad.
Jacob Gibbs is going to attack the rim. Goes right at Jordan. Jordan again.
Jacob gets so stubborn. He won't pump fake to get somebody off their feet.
Here's another floater from Goodline. That one off again. But the Lancers lose the 50-50 ball. Three-point shot. No good. But we're going to have a foul on the shot.
They're going to call that on Gibbs, and it was a great sales job. Yep, he did.
This is Joel Dyer at the free throw line. He's going to have 3 opportunities.
Goodness sakes, the last thing you want to do is put Huntington at the free throw line.
Both teams tonight have been exceptional at the line. Grace 12 for 12, Huntington 7 for 9. And the third free throw is good. Here is Stoltzfus. Malone inside. Pump fakes. Great defense from Jordan. Good hustle from Malone. Stoltzfus for 3.
Got it!
Good! Carter Stoltzfus. Tie ball game. A big-time shot from a big-time player. To the rim, beautiful jump off. Jordan with the dunk. Jordan been exceptional.
And I thought he did an awfully good job at the defensive end last time to not pick up a foul.
Lancer's going to look for Davidson. He's going to take the 3. That one's off. Here's Goodline. He's going to kick it out. Humrickhouse for 3. No good. Goodline gets the rebound. He's off.
Where's some help from Malone?
Goodline's gotten about 3 offensive rebounds in this second half. Just because no one's boxing him out. As Stoltzfus going to go to work in the pick and roll. Wanted to go inside, couldn't find it. Now they're trying to find Jacob Gibbs. He's going to rip baseline. Kick it out, Malone. One more. Stoltzfus 3. No good. Way off.
Got a shot clock.
Gibbs 3, but he didn't get it off. Shot clock violation.
That's about 4 times that Huntington has forced us into a shot clock violation. Just exceptional defense.
Wadding will enter the game for Malone.
Probably going to start going some offense to defense switches. We're getting to be that time in the game. One thing you don't want to be trailing Huntington with 2 minutes to go when you have to foul him.
Zach Goodline, the and 1 bucket is good. Stoltzfus looked like he caught an elbow to the mouth. And Grace will take a full timeout. We are going to take a break and be back with you in about 30 seconds.
Here at Grace College, we make the application process quick and simple, so there are no roadblocks on your path to Grace. All you have to do is go to grace.edu/application. It takes 5 minutes to complete, it's free, there are no essay questions, and you'll get an admissions decision in 2 weeks or less. It's that simple. At Grace College, we shape powerful perspectives and launch purposeful lives. It's not just the tradition in which we were founded, but it's the future that we embrace. Start your journey with Grace College and apply today.
And we are back, a 4-point lead by Huntington. Here's another look at the Goodline bucket. Good job staying controlled and going off 2 feet.
Goodline and Sparks are two of the best clutch players in the entire conference. No question about that.
Goodline will be at the free throw line for 1 shot. Goodline's free throw is no good. Rebound Davidson. Grace could really use a bucket on this possession as Huntington's defensive pressure continues. They're going to go inside. That's Gibbs. Makes the layup. Beautiful pass from Wadding.
Wadding did a great job of waiting until Gibbs is sealed and his man in front of him so he could go up and over the top.
Here is Goodline. Here's Hummerkaus. Good defense from Davidson. Hummerkaus going to try and go to work, and he's going to be fouled by Davidson.
That's 3 on Frankie.
Hummerkaus is no good on his first free throw. Here's another replay of the Davidson foul. Just a little bit too physical up top. Second free throw from Hummerkaus is good. Still just a 3-point game, just under 3 minutes remaining. Remember, Huntington had a big lead at the half. Lancers have fought their way back into this one. As they're going to get the ball to Malone. Now to Gibbs. Gibbs to the lane. That layup is good. Wanted the foul, too.
That's what he does best. He's a great slasher.
Big defensive possession here for Grace. As the 3-point shot is up and no good. Rebound Malone.
The Lancers with an opportunity to take the lead for the first time since about the 14-minute mark of the first half.
They're going to go to Malone. Malone's got Jordan on him. He wants the side to himself. Double from Sparks. Finds Wadding. Lancers lead 72-71.
And Malone pushed everybody away. The defenders backed off. And then what a great read by Wadding in order to cut to the basket. I swear Malone set that up intentionally because he had the biggest grin on his face walking back down the floor.
Here's another look. Malone motions everyone away, finds Wadding down low. As Grace will take their first lead in a long time.
We've got 3 older ladies sitting to my right here in the top row of the bleachers who come to almost every home game, and they're normally very quiet and sedated, and they're all 3 about ready to just explode here.
A hardwood classic on this Tuesday night at the Manahan Orthopedic Capital Center. Both teams, both coaches looking to draw up probably their best sets of the season in these last minute.
Well, you still got 4 or 5 possessions left in the ball game.
As the Lancers crowd will get back on their feet. Seems like they've been standing for the last 10 minutes.
Give credit to the Lancers crowd. They've had as much to do with this comeback as any of the players have.
Huntington gets the ball into Goodline. Here's Sparks. Try to get it back to Goodline. Watch out for that floater. Step back jumper. Can't find it. Here's Sparks. Sparks will take the step back three. Blocked by Davidson. Davidson by himself in transition. Big time slam!
Yeah!
Lancer Nation is going berserk.
Now what are you blowing a whistle on?
Stoltzfus got some blood on his hand. There's another look at the big Frankie Davidson dunk.
But look at the defensive play that started it. It was a blocked shot and a tip, and then they got the ball out and down the floor. There's the block by Davidson. Off to Gibbs, and then Gibbs had great court sense to look ahead to Davidson, and when Frankie got it, it was pretty easy. It was kind of like, man, I've got smooth sailing. My defender's 3 steps behind me. Keep in mind, though, don't get too jacked up because Huntington can erase that lead in like 3 seconds.
1 minute, 9 seconds on the clock.
Stoltzfus must have been bleeding all over the court because they're wiping it up all over the place.
He left the game holding his hand.
I'm just absolutely thrilled for the simple. Yeah, I'm needless to say, I really hope the Lancers, can end up winning this thing. But even if they can't, for this crowd to know what a great part of this comeback they've been, and for them not to be disappointed in coming out, let's say it ends up a 16, 18-point game, and the crowd's like, we didn't make that much difference. We're now, regardless of which side of the bleachers you're on, although you want your team to win, you got your money's worth.
Still working on cleaning up some blood on the floor.
Well, take your time doing that because the longer it takes to clean up that blood, the longer that gives Stoltzfus the opportunity to get back on the floor.
See the Lancer crowd just erupt after the Davidson dunk.
My goodness. Carter must have dropped the pint because there's blood all over the floor.
Here's the hope that Stoltzfus is okay.
And Davidson trots down the court like it's a dunk in warm-ups.
Quick reminder, Grace will be hosting the first and second rounds of the NAIA National Tournament here in Winona Lake next Tuesday and Wednesday. Grace plays Tuesday night at 6 p.m., and if they win, they will play Wednesday at 6 p.m. as well. There is also a game Tuesday at 8 p.m.
And keep in mind, folks, Grace has got to win both of those in order to advance to the Sweet 16 in Kansas City.
Grace looking to get the double, winning the Crossroads League regular season and postseason titles. But they still have a heck of a job in front of them of holding off this uber talented Huntington squad. Cleaning crews look like they're getting the finishing touches up on the floor.
You look down there at Eddie Gill gathered with his teammates on the floor with the 5 guys in the ball game, and you know right now this is the kind of time when he would just be chomping at the bit to get in the game. End of the ball game when you need big defensive stops and big defensive plays, that's Eddie's specialty.
As we will resume play. Huntington ball, Lancers lead by 3.
Ton of time, 1:09 to play.
They'll get it in a Goodline. Goodline has 16 points on the evening. Here's Humrickhouse. He's going to take the 3, and he's going to rim out on the 3 as the Lancers get it to Davidson. 45 seconds left in the game. Davidson crosses over, goes to the rim. Great help defense. That's Joel Dyer. And we're going to have a timeout called by Grace.
Well, you know, a bucket here changes the complexion of everything. Because now, if the Grace...
As Carter Stoltzfus returns to the floor.
If Grace can get a bucket here... I see a finger on his left hand's heavily taped. Obviously, he must have cut that. So it'd be pretty difficult for him to shoot on it at this point in the game. If the Lancers can get a bucket, now they have a 2-possession game.
There's a quick look
at the Lancer crowd. Game with 23 seconds to go. Then it becomes a free throw shooting contest the rest of the way.
Grace currently 12 for 12 at the free throw line. There's another look at Stoltzfus. Big ovation for returning to the floor. Don't know if we'll see him in the action again. But the Lancers on this possession going to be looking for a huge bucket to extend their lead. 17 on the shot clock, 40 on the game clock. President Drew Flam hyping up the crowd.
What an atmosphere. These basketball players on both teams, neither one of them will forget this atmosphere.
Lancers look to get the ball in. We're going to have a foul on Goodline.
Actually, that's a pretty good foul. Rather than let Frankie back cut to the basket and have a layup, put him at the free throw line.
Here is Frankie Davidson.
Oh my goodness sakes. Now what does a human rain delay want? You're not even the lead official, for goodness sakes.
Davidson looking to extend the Lancers' lead.
It's a 1-and-1. Got it!
First free throw good. Second free throw also good from Davidson. Here comes Huntington. 30 seconds, three-point shot is up. No good. Rebound Davidson. Davidson gonna push the ball himself. Feeds it inside. Malone! Big dunk!
Turn out the lights.
We got Landon Jordan down on the other end of the floor. Lancer lead at 7 points after the Malone dunk.
I know Frankie saw that he had Gibbs open on the left-hand side of the floor, but I think rather than throw it away, he was just going to dribble it back out and kill some clock until he saw Malone sneaking along that right baseline. And it's going to be real difficult if this team completes this comeback and wins it, not to keep the Grace players off the floor. We could see our first court storming here, Cam.
.2 seconds remaining. Grace lead by 7.
Before we get all nuts about dunks and scores and all that kind of stuff, let's keep in mind Huntington had 43 points at halftime. They've been held to 28 the entire second half.
Grace has scored 49 points in the second half.
You know, if you're Huntington, you probably want the job or the ball in your shooter's hands, not your number 3 or number 4 or number 5 option.
Here's the final look at the Malone dunk as the fans go crazy. As
now what?
A shot clock malfunction.
There is no shot clock malfunction because there is no shot clock.
Ball is inbounded. Looking for Humrickhouse. They find him. 3-point shot is up. And it's good. Ben Humrickhouse. Huntington takes a timeout.
Now it becomes a matter of getting the ball in. Huntington's probably going to give you one dribble maybe one pass. He took that with an awful lot of confidence, and then it's going to be Cub foul shooting.
Another look, Hummerkaus, good job of relocating. Shot the ball in rhythm.
I don't think that Wadding wanted to give him that much of an opportunity. He just got lost a little bit on that, got turned around.
We mentioned Huntington was winning the rebound battle in the first half. Currently stands Grace 48, Huntington 26. Grace 13 offensive rebounds. Handful of those coming in the second half. As Grace,
here comes the press.
Will try to put the ball in bounds.
And this is where you could really use Stolfitz.
Lancers get the ball to Davidson. Davidson up the floor to Gibbs. Gibbs to Malone. Elijah Malone going to get the dunk, but they're going to call off the dunk and call.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
The initial foul.
And we really didn't even need that dunk.
Lancers still shooting free throws for the rest of this game.
Just get a deep breath when you go to the free throw line. Don't rush it. And Stolfus over there going stir crazy on the bench.
Malone, first free throw good. Second free throw, also good. As Malone will sub out of the game, Ian Scott comes in.
Huntington's got to use this last timeout judiciously.
Huntington gets the ball into good line. Hummerkaus puts up a deep three. That one no good. Rebound Davidson. The clock will run out in Grace College, your 2023 NAIA Tournament champions. There's the court storm you talked about from Grace fans and students.
You knew it was coming, we just didn't know how to do it. We'd never done it before.
Grace College now your regular season champions and back-to-back Crossroads League tournament champs.
And the student bodies, normally would be mobbing players, but the players are busy going through the congratulations line.
Lancer Nation excited after a huge comeback win.
And the players are like, okay, now you guys can run over here and hug us. Where'd y'all go?
A huge game for Grace, finding themselves in a lot of adversity in that first half. Started to punch back at Huntington, finally taking the lead, and now finding themselves as Crossroads League's champions once again.
Holding Huntington to 33 points in the second half. Coach Moore holding his son. Charlie's pretty excited.
At this time, fans, we ask that you leave the court. Fans, please leave the court for the presentation of the championship trophy.
We will have our trophy presentation here in just a couple of moments. Just an absolutely different second half team than what we saw in the first half.
Well, they did what was necessary. In that first 5 or 6 minutes, they got it under 10. And then once they got it under 10, then they started chipping it away. And, you know, we can't commend Huntington enough. I really thought they played a spectacular ball game. They did everything they want to. I think maybe they might have wanted to get the ball in, you know, different shooters' hands down towards the end there. But they lost just a little bit of poise for about 3 minutes. And during that 3 minutes, Grace went on like a 7-2, 8-2 run, and then Huntington became the chaser rather than the chasee.
Here we will have the presentation for Grace.
Thank you.
Back-to-back Crossroads League championship titles for them. Quick look at the box score for Grace. Your leading scorer is Elijah Malone with 19 points. Davidson with 10 points and 18 points and 10 rebounds. Wadding had 14. Jacob Gibbs with 13 points. And then for Huntington, 17 points from Landon Jordan. Zach Goodline, 16 points. Lane Sparks, 13. And Ben Hummerkaus with 11. As the crowd erupts, Grace College champions yet again.
For the team seniors from Grace, accept the tournament championship trophy from our commissioner. Congratulations again to the 2023 Crossroads League Basketball Championship.
As Jalen Reese, Eddie Gill hold up the trophy and the banner.
Man. Partner, that one's going to be hard to top.
One of the best Grace basketball games we've had all year. A team that's battled through adversity on and off the floor and find themselves putting the finishing touches on a fantastic Crossroads League season and tournament. Excellent game by Huntington as well, even though they fell short at the end. There's not much better than this environment right here.
This is the best in-person atmosphere I've ever seen here. Hands down, it's the best turnout the student body's ever had, any adult body. And I mean, how they were into it from minute one and stayed into it throughout the entire game.
Grace College season not done. They will be back here next week on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, here's one thing, Cam. I don't want to play them the fourth time. I do not want to have to play Huntington a fourth time. Mercy.
As the seniors will lead the net cutting ceremony. As it's just a wonderful night for Grace Lancer players, coaching, fans, alumni, the students, as they cap off another fantastic conference season.
Excuse me. So now we go Tuesday and Wednesday. Hopefully get to play both nights at 6 o'clock. And then if that rolls, then it's on to the following Monday in Kansas City. But there are nothing promised to you. Guarantee at halftime, Huntington probably felt pretty good about themselves being up 16 points.
Well, hey, we are courtside with kind of courtside as much as we can be with the back-to-back Crossroads League tournament champs, Grace Lancers. Coach Scott Moore, congrats on the win. How's this feel?
What a cool thanks, Spencer. It's just awesome. It's the atmosphere. I just told these guys in the locker room, why would you want to leave, this state to go somewhere else and play when you can experience this? So it was a battle. They're a really good team. I thought we did a really good job just kind of hanging tight. We made free throws, which is huge down the stretch, and they were really good. So I got to enjoy it.
Talk to us about, that first half down by 16, just the fortitude your team showed, just the togetherness you showed. Tell us about that.
It's just a long game, right? It's 40 minutes, it's not 20 minutes. And that's what types of kids we got, though. We got kids that just battle, and I thought they kept their composure for the most part. And, they closed it pretty quick. We just started getting stops. They got a little tired, and you saw our conditioning there at the end where we were able to get a couple run-outs and transition points, and they just never stopped playing. So it's credit to our guys, man. It was fun. I know, buddy.
We love having Charlie, our guest star today. I think I'd be remiss without talking about our crowd tonight. Just talk to us about how incredible they were.
Yeah, it was just goosebumps, right? It was terrific. It's just, you look around still, look what these guys have kind of created, right? Coach K started it, and just to carry it over and just be a part of it. You just try to get out of the way sometimes and just kind of watch. It's pretty neat. Look at their faces. This is what it's about, right? It's pretty sweet.
Absolutely. Well, I want to let you bask in the moment as well, so we'll take you away from your media responsibilities, but congrats.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Well said by Coach Scott Moore, now a two-time conference championship himself.
It's really too bad that Scott hadn't had any success, isn't it? He's been here 4 years. He's had 4 years of over 20 victories. Been to the national tournament 4 times. Won the conference tournament twice. Won the regular season once. I don't know what he does for an encore next year.
One of the best coaches in the country, one of the best programs in the country. Grace will look to continue their success next week in the NAIA tournament. You remember last year they made it out of their region, made it to the Sweet 16, hoping to do so yet again. This time hosting the first 2 rounds of the tournament here at the beautiful MOCC on the campus of Grace College.
Well, here's the thing when you take a look at the national level. What's it take? You don't have to have a super dominant big man, but you do have a bigs that can produce. Both Huntington and Grace have bigs that can play. You got to have some outside shooting. Now on that, that can be kind of up and down when it comes to Grace on that outside shooting. But Grace has a ton of interchangeable bodies. They have 5 guys that are 6'5" to 6'7", are long, lean, play great defense. They're quick off their first step. They explode to the basket. and they can shoot short, intermediate jump shots. And honestly, most defenders aren't used to that as far as defending against a 12 to 15-foot jump shot. We have Frankie, we have Wadding, we have both Gibbs that are great slashers. You have Moore that's a great intermediate player. Who are you going to stop? Who are you going to pour all your efforts toward?
Just a fantastic night for Grace as we cap off the first session of the spring semester here at Grace College. Students preparing for spring break. Grace basketball not preparing for a break. This Thursday is the last day of classes. Grace basketball will not have a break, though. They will be back in action next week. We appreciate all those who tuned into the broadcast. Thank you for listening. My name is Cameron Williams, Jerry Garrato.
Hey, always a pleasure, my friend. It's an absolute distinct honor to be doing these games for Grace. Folks, don't forget to tune in next week. We really look forward to it. You make our day by tuning in. Good night. God bless.
Sweet. Okay.
Hey, can you get me back on the air? Coach Moore's coming up here. Okay. Thanks.
I'll get you a piece of this net.
Okay, sit down here with me for just a minute. Take a deep breath. I made him stay on the air. I knew I'd get my guy.
I came out. I couldn't hear anything down there, and it's always awkward because they can't really see you. So, thanks, bud.
Well, a couple things, and yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Coach, you know, I know Josh said something to you, but it was real hard for you to hear and to hear, but in general, I've never seen an atmosphere in this place like tonight. If you're an old school Indiana basketball fan, this is the epitome of it.
Well,
High school, college, it doesn't get any better.
You just sit there and you take a look around. First, the facility, right? It's incredible. We know that, but these kids around this area, especially local kids, and Cora's done an amazing job too, getting kids where. Why would you want to leave? Like, why do you want to go somewhere else when you can experience this? Like, this is high level. I mean, the guys he's got on his team, guys we got on our team, like, they're going to make money playing basketball somewhere if they want to. And the education is incredible. The support's incredible. And it's just like, you take a look around, there's Division I programs across the country that are going to play their conference tournaments and play their national tournaments, and there'll be 250 people there.
Yeah.
And this place was filled to the brim. So it's just awesome just to be a part of it. I get a front row seat every single game, so just blessed.
Okay, what was your message at halftime? Initially, I thought you might be raising Cain, and then I thought, no, I got a feeling he's going to have to calm him down because we played a little under control.
Yeah, I was pretty boisterous during the first half on the bench, and I thought the same thing. I thought going in at halftime, like, just got to settle down. Like, the emotions of this game, the excitement, the up and down, and it's like, it's the way it goes, right? Like, how do you handle this? Like, this isn't handling adversity. It's just it's a basketball game, right? You're going to have to make a stop, and you're going to have to get a stop again, and then you're going to have to get a stop again. I thought once we got to about the 12, 13-minute mark there, you started to see us get out and transition a little bit. We were throwing the ball up. We did a better job of getting the ball inside. Like, we took a bunch of threes early where, okay, we made those, but, like, that's not what we do.
No.
And we just, like, that's what Huntington's game plan was. They did a great job just packing. They were fronting hard, putting a lot of pressure on the ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, we can't just put it over our head and just magically just get it into Elijah. You're going to have to find ways to just be active. And I thought the second half we did such a better job of just making the game simpler. As crazy as it sounds, right? Sometimes simple wins.
Well, Scott, for goodness sakes, you held them to, 31 points in the second half?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, 27% from the field. Like, that's pretty good. We had some guys step up and play big minutes too, and you know, it's just that's what it's been. It's been constant. Who's next?
Tonight was kind of a microcosm of the entire season, in that about 4 different guys took over for 3 or 4 minutes at a time. Then it was like, okay, I'm done, your turn.
I thought defensively, Carter was really good. You know, his stat line, like 10 points, or 10 assists, no turnovers, 8 total points, 5 rebounds, and guard. I mean, those two guys, those are Division I guards, man. Like, they're really good. They're good with the ball in their hands. They're as good with the ball in their hands as any guard in the country. So that good line just can make any play. And he's just so good at creating space. Yeah. I mean, and so I thought Carter did a really good job. You know, he was 6 of 23. And you wouldn't know that by watching the game, but, like, we made him work a little bit. And 23 shots, I mean, 6 of 23 is not very good, and he's a really good player. So I thought he did a really good job. You know,
now, did Carter cut his finger?
Yeah, it kind of exploded on him right there at the tip. It kind of popped on him. They just couldn't get it to stop bleeding. So I think he's going to be okay. But, again, like, guys like, dude, Jake Wadding was terrific tonight, I thought.
Defensively and offensively.
Yeah, like when you get a guy who's 6'5" and 220 pounds who can guard a point guard and guard the 4-man, it's like, that's why we're good. It's just guys like that who has started every game as a freshman, every game as a sophomore, and then there's nothing he's done wrong. It's like, look, man, I think we'll be better if we can put you in this position. And he's never said one word. It's just like, no, man, I like winning games, and he's gonna be an All-American because of it. Like, at some point in time, that kid is important to us. So I thought he was excellent. I thought Frankie was really good again tonight. He's been really good. He's been a first teamer for the last 3 or 4 games here. Like, he's changed his game a little bit, and I think he's doing a really good job finding his rhythm. So,
well, it was real strange because we said, sitting up here, you know what? It's time. Frankie needs to take over a little bit, and he went on like an 8-point in 4-minute run that got us back into it.
Yep. He's a shot maker, right? And I think to his credit, defensively is where you saw he had a couple big plays defensively, which is not his biggest forte. Like, his length really bothered them. So just a fun game. I don't sweat very much, but I need to change my shirt, I think, because holy smokes, what an atmosphere. Just awesome.
Tonight's one of those kind of games. I've always said, Scott, the win is nice, but if you could just encapsulate that second right as the game ends and just hold it in time.
No question.
Because once it's done with, then you start coming down from it.
Oh, you've told me this, and I remember you telling me this, and as I've gotten older, I told the team before they came out, I said, look, this, a season is long, a career is really fast. And you blink and you're done. And I think sometimes we forget, and I told him this, when you go out there today, just like take a deep breath, look around, smell it, feel it, taste it, like remember it, right? Any way you can, remember it. And that way when you're 37, you can close your eyes, you can walk into this gym and you can go, man, I remember that.
Well, this is a night when
I got to cut my net.
The kids on both sides of the floor will never forget this atmosphere.
I got to go cut my net real quick, Jay.
Congratulations. I'll talk to you next week. Well, I guess that's a heck of a way to close down the regular season, eh? Grant, before we go off the air, I do want to say, because it got caught up in the atmosphere and noise, that for Josiah and Matt and Katie, what a great job they did on the cameras tonight. You, of course, you were masterful up in the booth. I can't thank you guys enough. You make life easy for Cam and I and whoever sits next to me, and just such a spectacular opportunity. My friend, thank you. We'll see you next week, eh?